My name is Virginia Burton, and I am the guest coordinator for QuestCon, and I'm a member of the adventuring team.
Awesome. So how long have you been cosplaying?
Uh, I got really deep into it starting like last year. I always kind of would, whenever I was dressing up for like Halloween, I would always get really upset because costumes didn't look as accurate as I wanted them to look, and I didn't understand why they didn't. Because if you're going to dress up as something, shouldn't it be the same? So I would always buy a costume and modify it and try and make it as like screen accurate or comic book accurate as I could, and didn't realize I was cosplaying or trying to cosplay up until like maybe I was like 16 or 17. I was like, oh shoot, so that's what that is. And then I kind of just didn't really do a whole lot with it. I just kept always just doing it for Halloween, or I just dress up randomly because I'm weird. Um, and so I think 2 years ago, time kind of all runs together for me now. Since I moved here, it's all like one long year. Sometime one Halloween about a year or two ago, I decided to go full on like jumpsuit Harley, or at least a version of it, the closest I could get. And so that was the first time I actually considered me doing cosplay, or considered calling it cosplay and not just dressing up on Halloween. And I kind of just down the rabbit hole from there.
What brings you enjoyment in cosplaying? What does it make, how does cosplaying make you feel?
Um, I enjoy doing it because I like to dress up and not wear normal people clothes, as some would put it. Um, I was the kind of kid in high school I would wear like a Renaissance gown just randomly, or I'd dress like I was in the '80s just whenever. Um, Cosplaying for me kind of takes you into like being somebody else for a little bit, so you don't have to be yourself. Because Virginia has massive anxiety and can't really talk to people outside in the real world. Um, so being able to cosplay and putting on that face, it makes it a little easier to go out and like be that character, because that's not me for just a little bit. Like I'm in there and I'm controlling like what I do and the decisions I make, but being able to talk to people, you kind of have to channel who you're cosplaying. For me, it's Harley. She's out there and exciting. You can talk to anybody. So that's kind of why I latched on to her so much, just because I'm not that. So cosplaying for me kind of helps me break through my anxiety.
It's sort of like the Batman Bruce Wayne effect. Batman, billionaire. Yeah, maybe he's a little outspoken,
Hmm.
but then there's Batman, the badass that'll go out and whoop your ass.
Oh yeah. In my head, it's like in his head, he's not Bruce Wayne. He's Batman. Thankfully, in my head, I'm still Virginia.
No mental issues here. Thank you very much.
I'm not crazy. I swear.
All right. So So what has been your? I'm gonna take a guess and say it's Harley, but what has been your absolute favorite cosplay to do?
Um, let's see. I might actually go with my what I would consider my very first cosplay I ever did before I even knew I was doing it. As much as I love Harley and I do Harley a lot, um, my very first cosplay that I went out of my way to make sure it was screen accurate was Magenta from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that was when I was like 12 or 13. I think it was 13. I was going to see Rocky Horror for the first time, like a live showing of it, and I wanted to dress up as Magenta. And so I made sure the dress looked just like the one she had, the apron looked just like the one in the film, and I even had like the big wig. And so I think that's my favorite one.
So are you a huge Rocky Horror fan?
Oh my god, I love it. um, I started watching it when I was 13, and I just never went back. It led me down like it's kind of helped me accept my weird. Um, and then actually watching Rocky Horror and then watching its prequel, equal, sequel, Shock Treatment, led me also to Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which I have an entire sleeve of that film, from the song Origin of Love. So, yeah, Rocky Horror is definitely up there with my favorite movies.
Okay. Now, how many cosplays would you say think you've done, like all together? before I guess he even released. It's kind of a little bit of muddy waters there.
Let's see. Well, if you count my Halloween costume, if you count Magenta, and then Colin Kozuki from Code Geass, Misa Amane, and then I kind of just did like casual cosplays. I feel like from there I would just dress up as a character would casually. I did Ash Ketchum. I forgot about that. I dressed full on Ash Ketchum when I was in elementary school because I loved Pokemon. Um, I had the vest, the gloves, the hat. I had everything. Um, I'd say in double digits. I don't know the exact number, but it's up there.
All right. Do you have a cosplay that would be like your least favorite, or maybe one that you had high hopes for but just didn't come out the way you wanted it to?
Um, hmm. The cosplay I feel like didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. It was probably Misa Amane. The dress I had was too big, so I had to hand sew it to kind of make it fit. Which I had to do with Colin Kozuki too, but that was just the pants, so it wasn't that bad. But the Misa dress, it was kind of a dress I'd gotten from Hot Topic, and it was the closest I could get to what seemed like something she would wear. Um, and it just I didn't feel as comfortable as I would have liked to have felt in it. But I still enjoyed the outcome of it. I also at that point in time thought I was not I felt like my face was super chubby, so I didn't feel comfortable in my body at that point in time. So it just wasn't really meshing with me.
How did you get involved with QuestCon?
Um, I started cosplaying as Suicide Squad Harley, and I guess Lauren had seen me do that cosplay, and it was at the Spirit Halloween, like costume fashion show. I was doing Harley, and she had messaged me and said she wanted to talk to me after the show, but we never really got a chance to. So afterwards, we got together and talked, and she asked if I wanted to be on the adventuring team for QuestCon. And then from there, we kind of like started meeting up, having coffee, and she would like explain to me everything that QuestCon was, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm all for this.
So how has your journey been with QuestCon? What's really how, because you've been with us for over a year now,
Yeah,
doing on the adventure team and guest coordinating and just really getting building the convention. So how has this journey been for you?
it's been exciting. It's definitely nothing I've ever really done before, and I'm all for trying new things. I definitely have gone more places with doing the whole QuestCon thing than I ever really planned to go outside of like RTX or Fantastic Fest. I never would have thought to go to MomoCon honestly because I like anime, but I'm not huge into it. But going to MomoCon with QuestCon was definitely interesting and exciting, and it was fun. I got to see Cyril at a rave. It was amazing, which I never would have done if I hadn't met everybody from QuestCon and become a part of it. So it's a lot of things that I never would have thought I would have gotten to do that I'm very thankful that I have gotten to do.
All right. How many places? How many conventions? Because you've been going around. You've been helping promote QuestCon. You've been doing the comic book shops. You've been doing a lot of conventions. How many
Mm-hmm.
how many conventions would you say you've done now?
Um, did Pensacon, we did MomoCon, did Wizard World, um, and I feel like there's something I'm forgetting, but I'm sure there's a few things that I'm like leaving out that I just can't think of right now. Headaches got my head all kinds of wonky. Um, but probably around like 4 or 5 that have been QuestCon related. But now going to RTX in July, I'll be able to kind of like say, hey, are you gonna come hang out with us at QuestCon? Because I mean, RTX is the Rooster Teeth convention where Jen Brown, Elizabeth Maxwell, and Aaron Zeck are all going to be there because they're parts of Ruby, and Rooster Teeth basically created Ruby. It was Monty Ohm's baby. And so I'll get to be out there and say hey to them while they're there, and kind of, if someone brings it up, like starts talking about it, I'll be like, oh, yeah, they're going to be in Mobile, like come hang out, and get to kind of introduce it to people who may not have heard of it yet in a different state.
That's awesome. we'll come back around to the guest coordination side, but I'm just kind of
Okay.
curious. Have you? What has been your ultimate cosplay that you found at the conventions you've gone to? Has been there one where you just kind of spotted it across the room and you're like, I don't want to sound like a girl, but oh my
Uh, this is gonna sound so dumb, but maybe not. It's not dumb to me, but it's gonna sound silly to other people because I don't know how many people know who she is. But Leslie Hall, is a songwriter, singer. She sings, I can't remember like the names of the song, but there's one where it's like number one cat in America, and then there's one where it's like if you see in the video where it's she's wearing like a gold bodysuit type thing. She's got like big glasses and like a little bouffant type hairstyle, but it's like kind of up but down. Uh, Leslie Hall, someone cosplayed her at MomoCon, and I lost my shit. I got so excited. I like ran up to her. I was like, "I'm so sorry if I'm wrong, but are you cosplaying Leslie Hall right now?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's awesome." I love Leslie Hall. Thank you,
okay.
Mama, for making me gold pants.
I'll have to look up the reference because I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with it, so I'll have to look it up.
Yes.
All right. So getting back around to the Quest guest coordinator gig for QuestCon, what's it been like to be able to interact with our guests? Because we.
um,
Yeah.
I well, it's definitely different because it's not the same as just like if you're at a convention and you're going up to somebody's booth and you're like, "Hey, can you sign this? I'm gonna talk to you for a minute because you're here." It's more of like you have to be a little more professional than that, I guess. Like it's not just like a "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, "So let's talk plans." And more often than not, you're not actually talking to the person. You're talking to their agent or to the company that represents them. So it's more kind of like business oriented, which uh, I like to pride myself on my professionalism. I try and handle things very maturely most of the time, and be as professional as I possibly can in everything because that's just it helps in the long run. I swear. um, so it's a lot different than like just being like, "Yo, you want to come to our convention?" and just like expecting a yes or no. It's like there are steps that you have to take. It's not as easy as people think it may be. Just like, "Oh, you get to talk to this person." It's like, no, I don't. I get to talk to their agent, and we get to make deals and negotiations and all of these things that you have to do before anything even comes to fruition. But it's fun. I like it.
Have there been any surprises? Has there been anything has anything really popped out at you as like maybe something like you weren't expecting or something that really was, or was it just
Um,
kind of,
I kind of just try and be prepared for as much as possible. So if we're talking like the whole guest standpoint, there are quite a few things that are surprising when I get some emails back. But I mean, it's kind of like, well, yeah, that's that's part of that deal. But as far as like going out to like events and doing other things, it really depends on the area that you're in. If you're at like an event in a downtown area, people gonna be drinking, people gonna be drunk, and people gonna do some crazy things. So I just try to just be like, yeah, that's happening. All right, that's a thing now.
all right, now you're also the one that gets the also as part of the negotiations, you're the one that gets the manager will send the list of requests and requirements. Now I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to name any names, and I know you've talked to a lot more people, a lot more potential people than we've actually selected.
Mm-hmm.
What has been the strangest guest request?
There haven't really been any strange requests. The only thing that really kind of surprises me is like the sometimes it's like the amounts.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like I only want blue M&Ms in my dressing room and I want 17 Andy's mints in the shape of a heart on my pillow every night. Nothing like that. Like nothing super crazy.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so no guests that are gonna be they're like way out of there in left field.
No, not yet anyway.
Hey, there's always hope.
Yeah.
All right. So gonna give us any hints on who some new guests coming up are gonna be?
I think I might have to keep it secret.
Okay.
I haven't been given the green light to give any hints or any like, hey, elbow, nudge, nudge. So, but if
Hey,
I do, I'll let you know.
hey, I had to try. The people that are watching this would not be happy if I didn't ask those questions.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is next? Coming back around to the cosplay, or hey,
hmm
maybe with the guest relations. But what's next? Like, do you have next cosplay, next convention? What's next?
What's next? With the closest thing that is happening for me is RTX, Rooster Teeth Expo in Austin, Texas, because I am a huge Rooster Teeth fan, and I'm very excited. Uh, that's July. I'm going to be going out there on July 4th. I'm flying out on July 4th, and I'm going to be there till the 10th, I would think. But it's that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and kind of Thursday. There's some stuff going on Thursday. But yeah, that's my most exciting, wonderful thing that's happening soon. As far as next cosplay, I really, really want to do Squirrel Girl. Um, but there are some pieces to the outfit that I have yet to find or have time to make. Um, but yeah, I want that to be my next one. If not that, um, the easiest one that I can do is Charlie from Supernatural because I've already got like that plaid shirt that she has. I just have to make the pink Sanmi shirt that she wears underneath it.
Do you do a lot of props, or like make a
I
lot of your own?
actually I made my own mallet for Harley, the one that she holds up for like 2 seconds in the film. It's like super small. It's like a regular sized mallet in the movie. But of course, I'm not going to make something tiny. I made it like comically large. So I made that in a very large size. That was the first, it might be the first prop I've ever made. There may have been something before it, but I was super proud of it whenever I got it done because I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. I'm doing this myself. Um, so props are actually more fun for me in the making process than like putting together the cosplays, honestly. Like I think I enjoy prop making more than making outfits.
Cool.
Yeah.
I kind of get a feeling, and I've seen several Harley cosplays. I have a feeling that there's like a rite of passage of making your own mallet.
Yeah. It was definitely I for a little while there I was like this is never going to happen. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to it's not finished. It's not going to finish. I'm not going to get finished in time. Everything sucks. And then it just like I have like a little collage that I did where you can see like the beginning, the middle, middle, and then the end, where I was just like, "Oh, this is wonderful." So I think like, yeah, it's the whole rite of passage thing to be Harley. You make your own mallet. It's kind of I feel like if you're gonna do Harley, you should at least try to make your own mallet. Even if you can't, it's totally fine. Still be Harley, but at least give it a shot.
There you go. What is it? Be anything you want unless it's Batman. Always be Batman.
Always be Batman, unless you can kill Batsy.
So, what are you most looking forward to with QuestCon? Out of all the, because 4 city blocks, 500,000 square foot of space, and
That's a lot, yeah.
what are you
It's
most looking?
I don't it's looking forward to probably the entire thing just as an experience itself because it's when I first joined, I never thought it was going to be that big. But it is so much bigger than I could have even anticipated, and there's going to be so much going on that I don't even know if you'd be able to pick a favorite. But I think just taking all of it in as an experience in a whole is going to be the best part. Seeing what comes of all of this, like of all this planning, all this getting together and the meetings and putting everything in its place and getting the volunteers and getting this and getting that, and then looking at the outcome of it, like walk into that vendor hall and just see everything, and then walk into like the guest area and just be like, wow, like holy crap, we did this, like we all like together made this happen, and that is exciting. Sorry, the dog just got home and the dog just bombarded the bed.
Hi.
Hi.
So who's that?
This is Tiffany, and this is Duncan. Duncan. And that's the boyfriend. I don't think he knew I was in here.
Surprise!
Surprise, dogs.
All right. So, do you have any, tips or tricks about cosplay, or even just working as a guest coordinator and reaching out and not only interacting with a fan base, but also interacting with in a professional setting? Do you have any tips or tricks to pass on?
Learn by doing. It sounds silly, but you're not gonna really get a grasp of what works best for you when it comes to talking to people or doing certain things until you kind of see what meshes with you. Like for a conversation that you might have with somebody in a professional sense may not be the same type someone else might have. Sometimes there's laid back professionalism, super professionalism, and then just like that sweet spot in between where each person kind of differs. So just doing it and kind of seeing what works and what doesn't, and like kind of tweaking your emails before you send them out, or reading them after you send them to see what maybe you could have done differently. Or even if you look at an email and you're like, oh, I should have said that. Dang it. Oh, well, next time. But never be brought down by something that you feel you could have done differently, because just take that and learn from it. And that can go with anything. That can work with life. Like,
are you a gamer?
When I have time, I prefer PC, because PCs are the best. I'm actually currently level 42 in EverQuest on the Agnar server. I play a barbarian rogue.
EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2?
EverQuest 1.
Ooh.
It's like it's the ones that it's the locked servers, so whenever, like, as time goes by, they're unlocking different zones in the server. Yeah. So we're all playing on Agnar, and it's going to be releasing, like, they're going to be releasing zones and unlocking them all the way up to Pantheon, when Pantheon comes out. So it kind of, like, lets you play up until then, and then, boom, hey, Pantheon.
So you're also definitely excited for Pantheon to come out?
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy the hell out of EverQuest. All right, guys. Now I know you're excited, and I'm excited, because QuestCon is very close. So in October, I will see you there, and you better come find me and say, hey,